Hello and welcome. This is episode 7 of React to Rolling Stone, and today I have for you guys the top 50 greatest prog rock albums of all time. Prog standing for, of course, progressive, and this is requested by Music Fan 1993. He wanted me to do more React to Rolling Stone videos, so there we are. I was, of course, done with the top 500 albums, so if you haven't watched that, go check it out. It is on the channel, it is in the playlist React to Rolling Stone, but there we are. Of course, the thumbnail is, I believe, or the thumbnail, the one picture they used, it was Keith Emerson from Emerson, Lake and Palmer, and this is a really scrub mistake for me, but I actually thought it was Roger Waters, of course, from Pink Floyd. I haven't checked the most progressive bands out. I've said numerous times that I'm really the biggest fan of progressive music. Progressive, just prog in general, prog rock, prog metal, stuff like that is my favorite genre. It is just the most complex and diverse and tells the most stories, which I find very interesting. But that is of course debatable and personal taste, so there we are. But that is my favorite genre or genre, whatever you want to call it. But today I have the 50 greatest prog rock albums of all time, and we're gonna count them down, just like I did with the albums. There are of course 450 less picks to count, so we should get pretty easily to this list, just in one sitting, I would say. Do I have some predictions? Yeah, of course you're gonna have Pink Floyd on there, the Wall maybe, Wish You Were Here, Dark Side of the Moon, that is an obvious choice. Animals, I hope. I really love that album, but I don't think it's gonna make the list. It's gonna be overshadowed by its predecessors, and maybe the Wall, we're gonna see. Yes, Fragile, Close to the Edge, of course, classic albums by that band. Maybe that Numbered album in the 80s, when they were hugely successful on the radio. I cannot remember how the album is called, but I remember that it is something with numbers, so correct me if I'm wrong. You're gonna have King Crimson on there, in the Court of Crimson, in the Court of the Crimson King, of course, very obvious choice. Red, classic albums. You're gonna have Genesis on there, Selling England by the Pound. The Lamb Lays Down on Broadway and Nursery Crime. I've reviewed those albums on the channel, not yet Selling England by the Pound. So if you want me to do that album as well, then let me know. Some more picks, maybe some Tool, Leather Alice, Anima, 10,000. I personally don't think that 10,000 Days is gonna be on the list, but maybe, we're gonna hope. Porcupine Tree, Fear of a Blank Planet, Deathwing, of course, really love those albums. Maybe Blackwater Park is gonna make it, from Opeth. Still Life, Ghost Referees, Watershed, my favorite albums of them, which I actually have in my collection, but those are some predictions of mine. Maybe some of them are gonna make the list, maybe some of them don't. I personally think that all the classic albums are gonna make it, like Yes and King Crimson and Floyd, of course. But we're gonna see what is on the list. Number 50 is Happy the Man by Happy the Man, and if I know the artist or know the album, then I'm gonna talk about it, and otherwise I'm just gonna say the number, say the band, say the album, and move on, because we don't want to sit here for like an eternity. So there we are. Number 49 is Hydromast Groaning Gem by Ruins. I'm not gonna repeat that. Number 48 is Black Noise by FM. Number 47 is Crack the Sky from Crack the Sky. Number 46 is Fandangos in Space by Carmen. Number 45 is Illusions on a Double Dimple by Triumvirate. Number 44 is Hero and Heroine by Strops. Number 43 is El Dorado by Electric Light Orchestra. Number 42 is Destroy, Erase, Improve by Meshuggah, of course. Really like Meshuggah. Haven't heard a lot of these guys. Have heard some singles here and there, but I want to listen to their albums. And I've heard that their second album, Destroy, Erase, Improve, is the best one. So I'm gonna check it out eventually. If you want me to do some Sugar on the channel, then let me know, because from what I've heard by them, it's pretty killer. So there we are. The only gen band that matters in that regard. Number 41 is Yeti from Amundul 2. Not sure how you say that, but there we are. Number 40 is Third by the Soul Machine. Number 39 is Fear of a Blank Planet by Porcupine. Actually, my background for my computer. But I personally didn't know that a modern album is gonna make the list, an album that is only 10 years old. But yeah, I've listened to this album yesterday, and of course many times before, and yeah, this is an absolute modern classic by this band. Yeah, actually, if you're gonna say that this is their best album, I can't blame you. It is an absolute masterpiece and deserves to be on the list. And actually, finally some love for Porcupine Tree, because they are tremendously underrated in my opinion, and they finally get some love from Rolling Stone. So yeah, Rolling Stone, I don't say this a lot to you, but good fucking job. Number 38 is You from Gone. Number 37 is Clutching at Straws from Maryland. I've heard of the band, but there we are. Number 36 is Si on avait besoin d'une cinquième from Harmonium. I hope I said that all right, and otherwise, yeah, at least I tried. Number 35 is Lo Sono Nato Libero from Banco del Mutuo. No clue. Number 34 is In the Land of Grey and Pink from Caravan. Number 33 is Leather Alice from Tool. Of course, yeah, just another modern classic by this band. They haven't released a lot of albums, so I think this is gonna be the only pick. But yeah, Leather Alice is, in my opinion, a masterpiece. It is really, it is close, but I would consider Leather Alice to be their masterpiece from Tool. Of course, you have Anima, 10,000 Days, and the debut album Undertow, but for me, Leather Alice is their masterpiece, and yeah, Tool. You can see it probably behind me, but yeah, really love Tool. Otherwise, I wouldn't have a poster of them. So big. So yeah, much love to Tool, and Leather Alice is, yeah, just listen to that album, man, it is phenomenal. Number 32 is Leftoverture from Kansas. Number 31 is Ashes Are Burning from Renaissance. Pretty sure you say it like that. Number 30 is UK from UK. Number 29 is Metropolis 2, Seen from a Memory from Dream Theater, of course. Of course, the sequel album to the first song, Metropolis Part 1, The Miracle and the Sleeper, from their Images and Words album. Of course, it is debatable which is the better album, but for me, everything, and yeah, just everything where Dream Theater stands for came together on Scenes 2, Scenes from Metropolis 2, Scenes from a Memory, an absolute masterpiece by this band, and yeah, considerably their best album. But that is, I wouldn't personally say that it is debatable, because this album is just so perfect. Just listen to it. Metropolis 2, Scenes from a Memory is one of those albums that you have to listen once in your lifetime. It is that magical. Number 28 is another classic, Blackwater Park from Opeth. When I really hated Rolling Stone with their top 500 greatest hits bullshit albums, they picked greatest hits for the albums list. Really hate that about Rolling Stone, but when you get Tool, Dream Theater, Porcupine Tree, and Opeth back to back, yeah, that is one thing I can really love. That Rolling Stone knows these artists, or maybe they have a fan suggestion page and they just pick. I'm really not sure, but Rolling Stone, you have picked the right choice from Opeth. Of course, their absolute masterpiece. I would have hoped that Still Life would have made the list, but unfortunately, Blackwater Park is the most popular album by this band, and it is popular for a reason. It is just groundbreaking. Every song on here is legendary. The opener, Leaper of Affinity, absolute astonishing, with the ending piano, of course, and that final title track, man. Just probably the best best ending song ever. Not even in not only in progressive music, but also in all of music. One of the best ending songs of all time, and Blackwater Park is an absolute flawless masterpiece. I've reviewed it on the channel. You probably know my rating if you listen to me. If you have listened to me, but yeah, just check this album out, man. It is jaw dropping how good it is. Number 27 is Crime of the Century from Supertramp. Number 26 is Palm Hearts from Wonder Graaf Generator. Number 25 is Deluced in the Comatarium from the Mars Volta. I've heard of it, but there we are. Number 24 is Mechanic Destructi Commodore from Magma. Number 23 is Fadra from Tangerine Dream. Number 22 is 2112 from Rush, an absolute classic. Came out of course in the 70s, and this is their breakthrough record, although the label didn't want Rush to make a record like this with a very long song of course. But Rush did, and they have made an absolute, just pretty much a flawless album. Again, personally I wouldn't say as good as Fear of Blank Planet or Blackwater Park or Metropolis 2, but of course 2112 is the more iconic album, it is more classic, so I can understand why it's higher, but for me those albums that I just mentioned are slightly better, but still 2112 is just a killer album, one of the best, not their best in my opinion, but we're gonna get to that I believe. They have one more album that is even better, and I have it actually in my collection. You can probably guess it already, but we will get to that. Number 21 is Mirage from Camel. Number 20 is Lark's Tongues in Aspic from King Crimson, the first Crimson album. Number 19 is Per Un Amico from PFM. Number 18 is One Size Fits All from Frank Zappa and the Models of Invention. Yeah, this guy has like 200 albums, so picking one is it's pretty hard. Number 17 is Tubular Bells from Mike Oldfield. Number 16 is Octopus from Gentle Giant. Number 15 is Red, of course, from King Crimson, an obvious pick for this list. Yeah, of course, one of their greatest albums, not their best album though. You already know what is the best album, but we will get to that. Number 14 is Foxtrot from Genesis. I've reviewed some albums from Genesis, but I believe one of their best songs is on here. So if you want me to do Foxtrot, someone then let me know, and it will be done, because Genesis is a classic band. And actually, one of the albums that I didn't think would make the list did make the list, and it is Animals from Pink Floyd. My favorite Pink Floyd album, of course, you have 5 songs on there. Pretty much all acoustic, talking about politics, that there are pigs, stuff like that, the sheep that follow them. They actually have sheep, and the way Pink Floyd brings this, the pigs, the sheep, and making an albums like Animals, and talking about all these animals referring to politics and mindless people that are following the people that following the pigs. The sheep follow the pigs, if you can get that. But yeah, this is a very deep and thought-provoking album, so if you haven't checked it out, check it out, man. It is an absolute masterpiece, and in my opinion, Pink Floyd's best album. But that is of course debatable. Number 12 is Brain Salad Surgery from Emerson, Lake and Palmer. Number 11 is Hemispheres from Rush, of course. Personally, I wouldn't say as good as 2112. 2112 is slightly better, but still Hemispheres is an absolute classic album by this band. One of my favorite also. Just a really classic album, and yeah, if you don't love Rush, or Rush is actually behind me if you have seen it already. So yeah, much love to Rush. One of the best albums, definitely. Not their best, but we're gonna get to that. Number 10 is Fragile from Yes, of course. One of their best albums. I wouldn't say their best, but certainly way up there and deserve to be in the top 10. Number 9 is The Lamb Lays Down on Broadway from Genesis, an absolute Just this album is very deep, very complex, and it's just very great to listen to in its entirety. It is really long, so if you have the time for this album, give it a chance, and you will not regret it. Number 8 is Future Days from Ken. Number 7 is Thick as a Brick from Jethro Tull, and I actually thought that Aqualung was gonna make the list, but it isn't. So Jethro Tull is still on the list. Their Aqualung album was not on the list, which was a bit surprising to me, but Jethro Tull still made the list and still pretty high, so there we are. Number 6 is Selling England by the Pound from Genesis. Of course, their masterpiece, if you would say so. Seen by many people to be their only flawless album. That is of course debatable, but yeah, this was still when Peter Gabriel was on the vocals and when Phil Collins was the drummer. Those were the good days. Now in the 80s, Phil Collins became the lead singer with their pop sound, but just everything came together perfectly on their breakthrough record Selling England by the Pound, and you should definitely give this a chance because it is pretty much flawless, their greatest album easily, and yeah, deserves to be this high on the list. I definitely agree with that. Number 5 is Close to the Edge from Yes, and I was expecting this to happen. Of course, Yes, Fragile in the top 10. And you gotta have their best album, Close to the Edge. I believe there are only 3 songs on this album, so really enjoy the songs that you have on this record. But yeah, if you just listen to this in its entirety, then you will not regret it, because this is easily their best album. And yeah, just much love to Yes. Yes is an amazing prog band back in their heyday, and yeah, remains their best album easily. Number 4 is Wish You Were Here from Pink Floyd. Another classic album. Wouldn't put it as high as number 4, but definitely deserves to be on the list. Wouldn't say as high as this, but there we are. Number 3 is Moving Pictures from Rush, and yeah, just this album is absolute flawless, absolute killer. Deserves to be in the top 3. One of my favorite prog albums ever. I have reviewed it on the channel, but I want to re-review it again for the 3rd time, because I have just so much to say about this album which I haven't said already. So which I didn't say in the videos I made. So maybe I'm gonna re-review this album if there's enough requests for it, but we will see. Maybe I'm gonna do it just because I really love Rush, and Moving Pictures is easily their crowning achievement. Number 2 is the obvious In the Court of the Crimson King from King Crimson, of course. That knows that you can stare into. Yeah, that is very iconic. Just the album cover itself, everyone knows. Although you're not familiar with prog, you know this album cover. I've seen it a million times, and yeah, this album is just flawless. Unfortunately, King Crimson blew their load off on the debut album, but this album is just absolute stunning. It is mesmerizing, and yeah, if you want to get into prog rock, then this album is pretty much the perfect gateway. It is not the perfect gateway because we have number 1, which is of course, it is very obvious. I don't even have to look. The Dark Side of the Moon from Pink Floyd. If you want to start with progressive rock, then Dark Side of the Moon is probably the most obvious number 1 choice you can ever get in music. Of course, it's easily the most popular one, staying on the charts for like 20 years or something, 2 decades. So I cannot deny that Dark Side of the Moon is an absolute classic prog rock album. Can't get enough of this record. Not their best album, I would say, because it is a bit overplayed, but that just shows how perfect this record is. If you can play this over and over and over again and cannot get tired of it. Well, I am a bit tired of it now because it is really overplayed, but still, I cannot deny that Dark Side of the Moon is an absolute masterpiece. It is my first album review on the channel, so go check out the first one. The first one is very special. And the Dark Side of the Moon is a very special album for me. And yeah, remains easily the most popular album in progressive music, and many people would say the best prog rock album ever. But yeah, of course for me, a bit overplayed, but still one of the best albums to come out of the prog scene. But yeah, that was the video, guys. The number one choice was very obvious. before I even started the list, I could see how from miles and miles away that this was gonna be number one. But that is of course an obvious choice. But yeah, it is obvious for a reason. So there we are. I hope you have enjoyed the video. Like, comment, subscribe, comment to the channel. You almost know for more videos like this one. I have to record a lot of videos, like 14 for the week. So yeah. So I'm gonna do that now because yeah, not sounding like I don't enjoy this, but I have to get it done. I enjoy doing this, but there are like 14 videos to do, so I have to make a bit of a rush. Get it, rush. The poster there, yeah, bad joke I know, but I hope you have enjoyed this video. Do all those things I just said, and yeah, I hope you have enjoyed the prog list. Let me know your 50 or maybe your top 10 favorite prog albums. Mine would be Blackwater Park, of course, Lateralis, Fear of Blank Planet, Animals from Pink Floyd, Scenes 2, of course, Metropolis 2 from Dream Theater. Choices like that. That is like half of my list, but there we are. But I hope you've enjoyed it. Do all those things. Let me know your favorite prog albums, and I will see you in the next video. God bless, stay safe, take care, have a nice day, and listen to prog. It is, in my opinion, the best genre there is. Subgenre, subgenre, genre, whatever you want to call it, it is the best, in my opinion.